Let's talk about Niger. This landlocked country in West Africa, which is said to be one of the poorest, also one of the most culturally diverse places in the world. Niger's unique demographic composition has also created a problem of cohabitation. It has led to internal conflicts that stem from ethnic and religious politics. Because of these conflicts, the country has been living in a complex security situation. A situation that time and again gets exploited by the country's religious leaders, its political leaders, even the army generals. On the 26th of July came a telling reminder. There was a coup in Niger. The country's president was overthrown, Mohamed Bazoum. He was detained by his own presidential guard. Who was behind the coup? The commander of the presidential guard, Abdurrahmane Tijani. Last we checked, he had proclaimed himself as the leader of a new military junta. His forces have closed the country's borders, suspended almost every state institution, and imposed a nationwide curfew. The question is why? What instigated this coup? A desire to acquire more power? Or is there a foreign hand in this? Has Niger become the victim of a proxy war? Let's find out. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I am Molly Gambhir. Niger is in a state of mess once again. It has just witnessed its fifth military coup since independence and the first since 2010. Yes, the country's history is riddled with coup d'etats. The first one came in April 1974. A lieutenant colonel overthrew the incumbent leader. He suspended the country's constitution and dissolved the National Assembly. And then in 1996, army officers once again staged a coup. They overthrew the president, Mahamadou Osmani, and dismantled Niger's multi-party democracy. In the year 1999, there was a coup against the army itself. The incumbent military ruler was killed by the dissident soldiers. And then in 2010, a group of military leaders again staged a coup. They detained the country's president after a gun battle. 13 years on, there has been another coup. The question is, what led to it? And there are a host of reasons, by the way. Number one, the debate over the ethnicity and legitimacy of the country's president, Mohamed Bazoum. His background has been an issue from the last time Niger went to polls. Because Bazoum is from Niger's ethnic Arab minority, and because of this, he has always been labelled as having foreign origins. And this did not sit well within the country's military circle. You see, Niger's army is predominantly composed of the larger ethnic groups, so it saw the president unfit to rule the country because ethnicity is a big issue for the generals. Even appointments in the military are made along ethnic lines, and so the military decided to oust him. Reason number two, the large number of foreign military troops and bases in the country, and this too has not been well received by the military. Niger, you see, is a key ally of Western countries in the fight against insurgency in the region, so many of them have their bases there. This includes the US. In the year 2019, the US opened a drone base in Niger despite protests. Some Western nations have even invested in the country's economy, like France. It has made huge investments in Niger's mining sector. The army, in fact, believes that all of this undermines the country's sovereignty along with their authority. Reason number three, the failure of the regional organizations to take a firm stance against coups in Niger's neighborhood. This includes countries like Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Mali, to name a few. Neither ECOWAS nor the African Union tried to intervene when the governments in these countries fell or deter opportunistic military leaders. Their failure to do so seems to have emboldened Niger's military. Reason number four, the prevalence of Islamic extremism in the region. This has dismantled the security apparatus of many countries in the Sahel region, in fact. It has also led to military leaders exploiting the instability and establishing themselves into power. Reason number five, and this one's very important. the presence of foreign mercenary outfits in Niger, like the Wagner Group. You see, immediately after the coup, hundreds of youth gathered in Niger's capital to celebrate it. They waved Russian flags and chanted Wagner. Experts say this indicates that the Wagner Group may have helped the military stage a coup. Adding wings to these claims are in fact reports like these. A Niger coup general meeting the Wagner-allied military junta in Mali. And back home, the visuals of locals celebrating the coup is fueling the speculation further. Experts say this suggests that some people in Niger believe the military, supported by Russia and the private military contractor Wagner, would do a better job of running the country and fighting insurgents. So you know what has happened? You know why it may have happened? The question is, what follows next? What implications will this really have on Niger's domestic affairs? And how will it impact the politics in the entire Sahel region? Well, there will certainly be severe consequences for Niger and the entire Sahel region. You see, Niger is a strong ally of the Western nations, especially France, the US, the European Union. Together with them, it is fighting insurgency and curbing illegal migration to Europe. Now that the military has taken over the country, efforts to address these issues will be affected. In fact, for all you know, the new military leaders will want to use these issues as a leverage in their negotiations and to force acceptance of the new regime. Secondly, the new leaders in Niger might also engage further with the Wagner Group to combat the Islamist insurgency. The Wagner chief has already praised them for seizing power. And in the months ahead, the influence of Russia and Wagner in the region could grow further. Third, a successful military takeover in Niger would also be a major drawback for democracy, not just in the Sahel region, but in Africa as a whole. Reports say the military regimes of Guinea, Mali and Burkina Faso are already planning to form a military alliance. The agenda is to supposedly combat insecurity or perhaps maintaining their grip on power. And fourth, the coup could make Niger a battleground for the West and Russia, with the Wagner Group supporting Niger's military and Western nations backing its ousted leader. Niger could soon become a turf for their respective interests and agendas. So what's the way out of this? Well, unless African leaders themselves speak in one voice and take a firm stand against foreign campaigns in their continent, there is nothing much that the people of these countries can do to help themselves.